Today's video is basically on one of those topics about maximizing lifestyle, and that is geolocation maxing, how we can change our environment to maximize our lifestyle to its full potential. So I'm coming from the view of Southeast Asia. That's where I spent most of the considerable amount of time. And I'm going to tell you how changing our location is probably one of the most powerful tools that we have available to change our mindset. Firstly, this is a little bit of an abstract thought. If you are feeling like you're in a rut or just not feeling like the place you're at currently is where you belong, it doesn't really matter how much you work on the gym or your mindset or your income. And of course, all of those will have tremendous benefits down the line. But changing your location is probably the easiest and quickest and most effective way to change your mindset. Now, it feels a little bit wrong saying that you don't belong in the country that you were born or that you were raised. But there is some innate feeling, let's say, or something that just doesn't fit with you. And it's not to say that the other foreign country is where you belong, but maybe it's just the feeling that this is where you're supposed to be. So the first thing is, if you're feeling like you're in a rut in your current environment, then change your environment. That's the easiest and quickest fix that you could do, regardless of how much you focus on yourself. And now let's move on to the tangible benefits. Firstly, all of these tangible benefits, when I look into them, are encompassed in one key theme, and that is actually optionality. And optionality actually gives us this sense of freedom. It gives us this sense that life isn't so monotonous, that it's not just the same thing from day to day. But when you have options, it seems like you have choice. And if you have choice, you feel like you have freedom. And I think that's one of the main key criteria that geolocation maxing needs to fulfill is optionality. So firstly, let's look at apartments. Now you have a wide range of apartments that you can pick from. Now just imagine, like, would you ever be able to afford a 2-bedroom villa with a private pool in any Western country? You would need to be in the upper echelons of society. But in these countries that are quote unquote third world, which I don't believe at all, this is very viable. You don't have to break the bank to do this. And by basically living in a nice place or a nice apartment, it already kind of feels like you achieved something in life, you know? It feels like the hard work you've done or what you built up so far, it actually is going towards something, and you can see some tangible benefits to it. So apartments are abundant, they're well within budgets, and they're at extremely high quality. You're seeing these clips throughout the videos. These are all of the apartments I stayed in for multiple months, etc. And they've been amazing, and they've never broken the bank. And also, it just gives you the sense of accomplishment. Again, we go back to that term, options. It gives you the options to stay where you want, as opposed to confined to a few choices that you would be in the West due to budget. Now, the second thing, I'm not really that fussed about what I eat, etc. But the food is, of course, very cheap. It's also a lot of options. And to be honest, perfect fine. Again, it's option and convenience here. Like, I could go down to 7-Eleven, get chicken and rice and a protein shake for $3. And that would be so easy, so quick, so convenient. And I would meet my macros. And actually, I can stay on my diet much, much better. I'm actually more healthy there. Just due to the fact that it's very convenient. And also the fact that you could actually probably eat out like 4 or 3 times a week to some restaurant. And now I'm not like too fussed about this, but again, it's the optionality that you have, that you can do this without feeling a burden. Just feels like you're actually living comfortably rather than living within your means, which is quite a big parameter to feeling like wealthy or successful, in my opinion. Now, the third option that's very important for me is activities. Like, in the West, it's actually very difficult to do any activity, in my opinion. Let's take motocross. If I wanted to do motocross here in the UK, I would have to get the bike, get a van, drive the van with the bike to some design location, pay like some fee for nothing just to enter the thing. And it would just be a huge hassle and everything, and it would be cold as well on top of that. But I could do activities like this at a whim, just wake up and do it. Like, example, these are clips of me at motocross in Bali. This was 50 USD for 8 hours for the whole day. And you could do this multiple times, very easy. Location, view, everything was amazing. Do this with other activities like Muay Thai, or again, Muay Thai was extremely fun for me as well. Of course, you can do this in the UK, but the experience is very different. Like over there is a traditional gym, like wrapped around in tape or something. It just gives you that vibe, and it just feels like something that you would never be able to obtain in a Western country or in the UK. For me personally, if you want that like cultural experience or that vibe. Other activities, it's like you can do a lot like canoeing. I did. Of course, you can even do hiking to some nice location. And of course, you can do all of these in the West. I'm not saying that. But in the West, it would just be a hassle, in my opinion. It's really the convenience and the optionality that you can do this without too much inconvenience. That's really the benefit for me. Now, other things like the weather, etc., those can be a bonus or a minus depending on your preference. Of course, it's going to be hot in most of these locations. Also, the last point, I think it's very good just to expand your own views on the world, your own reality. Especially if you go there solo, you'll probably be interacting with a lot of locals, maybe you'll be dating, etc. And you'll kind of learn how other people view the world and what they kind of think is important. And that just kind of opens your own worldview, which basically makes you more educated, let's say, or more wise. I don't know what the exact word is, but I think it's a great character building experience, and I think everyone should do it. But the main encompass of this really is optionality, because with optionality, you get choice, and with choice, you feel like you have a sense of freedom, and that's really anything everyone is after.